Hey there, and welcome to the Gap Year Podcast. My name's Michelle Dittmer, and I am your host and Gap Year expert. So, when I ask young people why they're taking a gap year, they really quite frequently respond with, I don't know what I want to do with my life, or I don't know what I want to study, and why would I go forward and spend money if I don't know what I want to do? Now, when I'm talking to these young people, either they have too many interests or too many career directions, or sometimes they have nothing and they feel they haven't been inspired or aren't inclined for any particular pathway. And both of these are absolutely fine. The gap year is a perfect tool for these folks. And now why do I say that? Now, it goes beyond the fact that I advocate for gap years in general, but I have seen hundreds of young people find direction through their gap year, and I'm going to share some of the best ideas for you. And if this sounds like you, that you want to use your gap year or your kids' gap year to figure out what you want to do from an educational or career perspective, this is the episode for you for sure. Now, before I jump into all of these ideas and tips for you, I do have to put on a disclaimer. And that disclaimer is that no one knows what they want to do with their life, or at least very few of them do. And most people will change directions multiple times in their life. Now, all the gappers that I coach know that I will say this again and again and again. Okay, most people don't know what they want to do with their life, and they're going to change directions many times. So please don't feel that there is immense pressure for you to have everything figured out at the age of 17 or 18 or even 22 or 25. It's totally okay to be figuring it out as you go. And the flip side of that is that it's actually detrimental to our health, to our mental health and well-being, if we're looking and planning too far into the future and trying to have solutions too far into the future. So trying to decide on the end game, or like the final career that we're going to have for 50 years, that really doesn't exist anymore. So let's stop pressuring ourselves and our kids to have this answer. So let's stop asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because nobody knows, and it's okay to not know. So instead of knowing that end destination, that end game, really, the best thing that we can do is to make a decision on what the best next step is for us. So not the end goal, but just what is the next step. For many, that might be finding some sort of schooling or training that's going to make sense for them right now. Our life is really all about uncovering more about ourselves and the world around us. So every year we're going to have more information about that, and therefore we're going to be able to make a better decision for our next step as we grow and evolve. I think a really good analogy came from this amazing speaker and activist, Sandy Boucher, who was at our Gap Year launch event a few years ago. And she said that your job right now is to pick up puzzle pieces. You don't know what the final picture is going to be, but you're picking up clues and piecing them together along the way. You don't need to know what that final picture is. Just pick up the pieces as you go. So here I am giving you permission to not know what you want to do for a career and just look at what is the next right step for you. Now, that being said, we need to move from a place of having no idea about what the next step is to having some ideas of what the next step might look like. So let's jump into some activities and tips that might help you here. And I'm going to break it down into two groups of people, like I said before, those who have lots of ideas and those who have no ideas.